Well, hello everyone, and welcome to our Baker Q1 2015 new condo sales recap and market overview. And we thank you all for joining us today. It's become quite a tradition here at Baker to be doing our quarterly reviews, and we really appreciate you guys taking time out to spend with us this morning and learn a bit about the market and where we are in 2015 so far. So joining me as always today is our President and CEO, Barbara Lawler, and of course I'm Jeff Clark with Baker as well. So the two of us are going to walk you through an agenda here that is packed with great information. So we're going to start with Barbara Lawler talking about our market recap for 2015 thus far. And then we're going to pass it back to myself, and I'm going to walk you through some very unique stats that are taken from Baker sales over Q1, both here in Toronto and in Montreal. And then talk about our Baker web app. And then after that, we're going to pass it back over to Barbara, and Barbara's going to walk you through our upcoming projects, which I know everybody will be very, very interested in. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Barbara so she can start with the market recap. Barbara, over to you.
Good morning, everyone. Well, spring 2015 really has finally arrived and looks promising for continued success in our new construction condominium market. At Baker Real Estate, we are looking forward to another great year in the Greater Toronto Area's new condominium sales industry. Toronto is a great city to live in. International accolades keep pouring in for the city of Toronto. Already in 2015, Toronto has been named The Economist's best place to live in the world. We were ranked 8th out of 50 cities in the Safe Cities Index and ranked 12th in the Sustainable Cities Index, which is the highest North American city in that ranking. Last year, the city gleaned 15 impressive titles, including being named the world's most tax competitive major city by KPMG, the world's most resilient city by the Grosvenor Group, and the world's top intelligent community by the Intelligent Community Forum. No wonder immigrants choose to settle in Toronto, the most amazing city on the planet. There is so much in our media that is negative about our new construction condominium market, but I think I heard all of us cheering when the Bank of Canada Governor Stephen Poloz said in testimony on Tuesday of this week to the House of Commons Standing Committee on Finance that we don't believe we're in a bubble. These are Stephen's words. He said that Canada's long-running boom in the housing market hasn't been underpinned by the kind of rampant speculative buying that is the hallmark of an asset bubble. When asked to comment on whether Canada's housing market is overpriced by 10 to 30%, which we've seen a lot of in the media, Mr. Poloz indicated that he believes the overvaluation is not a symptom of runaway prices and widespread investor speculation, but rather of ongoing strength in consumer demand spurred by historically low interest rates. Gotta love that. Certainly, the RealNet slides for the Q1 are in, and after the resounding success of new construction condominium sales in 2014, which was the strongest year of the decade, barely under the second best year, the RealNet results for the first quarter just say that we did good. Total new home sales were 8,512 units, which puts us well above the 10-year average of 7,870 sales. So we're off to a good, solid start in 2015. It's a fact that condominiums took 55% of the total new home sales in 2014, and our market share continues to grow, and that is thanks to all of you who join us today, our Baker Realty partners who are here with us. Congratulations to all of you. Our next slide shows the high-rise Q1 10-year average. The 10-year average is 3,717 units, and our first quarter in 2015 saw 4,134 new construction condo sales. So we are again well above the 10-year average. The media makes great headlines about oversupply, so here's the deal. And if you look at this chart, you can see that sales are in red and supply is in dark blue. In the first quarter of 2015, we sold 4,134 new condos. We only got a supply of 3,807 new units. And if you look at the chart, you can see that only twice in the past decade, during the Q1 of 2011 and Q1 of 2012, has sales outpaced supply. With StatsCan estimating that the population of Toronto will increase to 9.2 million people by 2036, we need a supply of affordable homes for newcomers. Here we can see the remaining inventory by construction status. Let's look at the chart. The pale graph talks about pre-construction. The blue chart line is under construction, and the red line is standing construction. The reality is that these are really stable numbers. We're not seeing an upward trend, and that is a good sign. And let's remember that we need supply to meet demand. The way the numbers are going, we could actually find ourselves needing more supply to meet demand in the coming years. Also interesting is the fact that new condominiums have become the new home of choice for so many, and it's understandable for many reasons, and price is, of course, one of them. The price difference between the average low-rise and high-rise home is substantial at $288,000. That is a new record. It's a massive difference especially for first-time home buyers. And this also shows that we are really supporting our government's mandate of places to grow, telling us that we should grow up and not out. This is really happening, and the future of real estate in Toronto is really tied to high-rise. Investors really get it. We're seeing that investors are choosing to hold their units for well over 5 years for rental instead of selling at closing. This year, the big banks, the pension funds, the real estate investment trusts, and private equity funds are all looking to invest in our great Toronto market. We're also anticipating a spike in foreign investment in the GTA in 2015. Our loonies decline has marked our real estate as very attractive to investors who have currencies that are tied to US dollars. Additionally, the Chinese economic slowdown is sending the Chinese investor to viable locations like Toronto. We've all heard the saying, the early bird catches the worm, and it holds true when it comes to investors who purchase suites at the launch of condominiums and take advantage of the best prices and suite selections. These future-minded buyers appreciate owning real estate as a tangible alternative to stocks. Real estate is something they understand and can connect to. Urbanation reports that 22,765 condos were leased in Toronto via the MLS in 2014. Units which were via private listings like Craigslist or Kijiji. This is more than double the reports figures of 2010, which were approximately 10,000 units, which really supports our investors who are buying condominiums to rent out. Our vacancy rate remains really low at 1.3%, which is a sure sign that Torontonians are choosing to rent our new construction condominium units. Investors in the Toronto condominium market recognize that it's the best real estate value on the world stage. And at this point, I'd like to hand it over to Jeff, who's going to share some unique Baker stats with you.
Thanks a lot, Barbara. That's very interesting information. I always tell people with the record price gap between low-rise and high-rise being at $288,000, I always make the comment that you could buy a condominium, and with that $288,000 that you've just saved, you can buy yourself a nice Bentley to put in the parking lot down below. So it's a staggering number, but it is, the legislation is working, and we are growing up and not out, and the intensification has led to that price gap growing bigger and bigger. So what we thought we'd do is walk you through just some interesting statistics that are taken from our Q1 sales for 2015 and contrast it against, rather than just the Toronto market in isolation, contrast it to how things are operating in another market that we sell in, which is in Montreal. So if you look at the graph that we're showing you here, we have bed types sold in Toronto compared to bedroom types in Montreal. And the first thing that jumps out to me, and I'm sure you'll be seeing, is the popularity of one bedroom plus dens that is prevalent in our Toronto market does not carry over when you go into Montreal. When you're in Montreal, one bedroom plus dens represents only 7% of the sales, whereas in the Toronto market, it represents almost 40% of our sales. Another interesting thing that certainly we've seen a trend over the last 2 to 3 years is in the Toronto market, the falling out of popularity of lots and lots of studios in a building. For our Q1 data, only 2% of our sales were studios. When you contrast that to the Montreal market, they're still seeing a very strong demand. And you can see that they're at 27% of their sales in Q1 were studios. And then you can see further that 2-bedroom units are very popular in Montreal. And I will explore a few more slides as we go along, and it will support why 2 bedrooms are bigger when you look at who's buying in Montreal compared to Toronto. Another interesting stats to compare Toronto and Montreal is when we look at the price and square footage ranges. You'll notice on the top left, for Q1 in Toronto, we had our biggest sale of just over $1.8 million. When you contrast that to Montreal, our biggest sale in Montreal was $549,000. So a significant difference. And when you look at the averages on that chart, our Toronto average for Q1 for Baker was $378,000 in Toronto compared to only $300,000 in Montreal. When we look at the square footages on the top right, you'll see, if you go to the right side of the graph, you'll see that the average size, not surprisingly, is smaller in Toronto than it is in Montreal. 691 square feet was the average size of unit that we sold in Q1 in Toronto, compared to 767 square feet in the Montreal market. And you can see in the center of the graph that we sold a 1,990 square foot unit in Q1, being the biggest that we sold in so far this year, relative to 1,168 square feet in Montreal. And then finally on the center graph at the bottom, you can see price per square foot. And our largest or highest volume or dollar amount for price per square foot in Toronto was $1,335 compared to only $592 in Montreal. And you can see, again, not surprisingly, that the price per square foot on average in Toronto is $547 for sales in Q1 compared to only $400 in Montreal.
We should all buy in Montreal.
Because everybody should learn French and move to Montreal. At least their team is in the playoffs right now. So if we'll move to the next slide, this I find very interesting. When you look at these graphs, it's comparing people that are registering online for new projects in Montreal and in Toronto, and then below it, people that are buying in Toronto and Montreal. And again, this is from the Baker on stats. So the big thing that you'll see sales, the Toronto sales, is see that the first time buyer in Montreal is dominant. It's 86% of the market, with investment being only 14% of the market. And that pretty much is the entire market in Montreal as we see it right now. When you move over into the Toronto marketplace, you can see that as you as Baker Realty Partners would well know, that 46% of the Toronto market is actually an investor client, with 29% being a first-time buyer, and then we do see 20% right sizing. So there's quite a significant difference, a very small investment market in Montreal, and pre-construction condos are extremely popular with first-time buyers in that market, whereas the Toronto market is a very strong investment market. And for many of the reasons that Barbara talked about with the Places to Grow legislation and with our continued immigration and the very low number of purpose-built rental being put into the Toronto market, it is a very good investment and continues to be. So I'm going to just take a moment as well now to move on to talk about our Baker web app. So our Baker web app, we've just spent a fair bit of time, effort, and money and have created a fantastic program that is being very, very well received. Barbara, everywhere I go, we see our Baker Realty Partners with the web app on their phone or on their tablet or on their computer. We're getting great reviews for this. So for those that are not familiar with it, you'll see at the top of the screen, it's mybaker.baker-re.com. You just have to go to that address, and it's a very, very simple process to log in and get up and running into our Baker web app. It's a realtor-only website, and it is password protected. So what is the web app? The web app allows you to access advanced information on all of our projects. So this is prior to us actually launching. We have been uploading early information as we get closer and closer to launching. Once you're in the web app, you'll be able to download the assets, the marketing material, the renderings, and if we have any videos, all of those will be in a downloadable format for you to build marketing material on your own. In addition, we have pricing and worksheets and an online worksheet in there as well. The other great thing about our web app is that it's adaptable, which means that you can view this on a desktop, you can view it on your smartphone, on a tablet. It is very, very friendly no matter what type of hardware you're using. So what this also allows you to do is create online worksheets. So it puts our projects at your fingertips. So you'll be able to sit in your client's living room or at a Tim Hortons or at a Starbucks and walk your client through the project and then actually complete a worksheet online with them, take a picture of their photo ID, and then have it sent to our office for deal processing. Another great thing about it that when you log in, there's some very easy instructions. Once you've logged in to the web app, you'll see an instruction on how to create an icon to go onto your home screen. Very simple to do. And once you've put that icon onto your home screen, it means you you don't have to log back in again. All of our projects are literally one thumb touch away on your tablet or your iPhone, and you've got access to our projects, and you have access to worksheets and all of the information that you need to help sell to your clients. We really encourage everyone to get up and running on our Baker web app. We are loading more and more projects onto it and more rich content. We encourage everybody to get on it. And if anybody has any questions or difficulties with it, there are contact information at the end of our webinar that you'll be able to get in touch with us, and we can walk you through it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pass it off to Barbara again, and Barbara's going to walk us through our up and coming projects that I know everybody's going to be excited about. So over to you, Barbara.
Well, you know, Jeff, if I can just take a minute to share the construction starts this spring, because we are having and have already had a busy spring market for construction starts. Just last week, Moishe Safdie came into town for the groundbreaking at Monde, the Great Gulf project. We're looking forward to later spring out in Burlington. Is bringing your communities with the Remington Group up in downtown Markham, that 35-acre master planned community. Young and Rich is breaking ground this summer. This week we're on site with Greenland as they break ground in the entertainment district, and we've just had to 221 Yonge Street for Tower Hill to my heart. Construction is starting. We are in Scarborough. Soon. For this we need our slide to come up. We're just, there it is, coming. East United Condos for signature homes. We'll be launching in weeks. Joy for is of millenniums, which is the development that people have been to out in Scarborough. We have the Esplanade in the UK and downtown Riverside Square with streetcar, rail 2, text and metro. 48 Power Street is with Great Gulf. Masonry and Nautique are both coming out in Burlington with adding events. Emerald City is adding their 5th tower at the master planned community at Shepherd and Don Mills. 250 Lawrence Avenue West is coming for Greywood, the developer of the Ritz-Carlton, and Easton's Group will be bringing the Rosedale. In Montreal, we are bringing Muse at Stanley and Sherbrooke for Les Immeubles Domaine Inc. Eden, which is in TMR, the town of Mount Royal, for Presti Homes, and Condo's OV from Walter Assatorian. Villanova is coming in the Lachine East area by Lachine East Development. So we have a jam-packed agenda for 2015, and we hope to invite all of you and see you all to come and join us. Over to you, Jeff.
Thanks very much, Barbara. We got a great lineup coming up, and as you saw with the sites that have started construction, Baker, together with the Baker Realty Partners and our wonderful developers, are having a major impact on the skylines of Toronto and the surrounding areas. So it's very, very exciting. And as Barbara mentioned, with all of these projects coming up, we're looking forward to getting together with everyone in the weeks and months coming up. So at this point in time, we're going to end our webinar. We wanted to, you can see that we're very, very active in social media. If you log on, I should have mentioned at the beginning, if you go onto our actual Baker website, this webinar will be uploaded onto our YouTube channel with audio. So you'll be able to view the webinar again and take notes and download it for your own purposes as well. We are going to be at the Realtor Quest booth. Hopefully we'll see everyone. We encourage you to drop by. We're booth 309 and we'll be there May 6th and 7th. So we really, really hope we'll see you at the Realtor Quest booth. And I always end by saying that one of the things that's very important to Baker is our relationship and partner with you, our Baker Realty Partners. You are our partners in the success of the sales of our amazing communities that we sell. And we appreciate all of your work, and we enjoy all of the partnerships that we've had over the years and the incredible impact we've had on the Toronto skyline. So we are always eager to work closer with you. So if anybody would like to learn more about selling pre-construction condominiums or talk about how Baker can work closer with either yourself or your broker, we encourage you to reach out, give us a shout, and we'd be all too glad to come out and sit down, have coffee, and talk how we can help you be successful in selling all of our great projects. So with that, we are going to wrap the market wrap right now. And again, want to pass on a great thank you to everybody for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.
And we're going to sign off now. Upload this onto the YouTube channel so you can watch it again and again and again, as I'm sure you will want to. And we will be joining you again in the next quarter for our Q2 market wrap. Thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great day.